Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Thursday, the 12th of June. I'm Stephen Ridgway. So first things first, has anybody else noticed that Chrome has gone bonkers from a resource requirements perspective again? Mine seems to have... I've noticed over the years that Chrome oscillates between behaving nicely and being the most greedy CPU hog. So we're going through a CPU hog phase at the moment, so the fans whirring in the background are fans on my laptop, desperately trying to cope with the utterly unnecessary number of CPU cycles that Chrome is demanding right now. Anyway, rant over. Start off with something which has been all over the press, so it's just to bring it to your attention just in case you might have possibly missed it. But ConnectWise is updating its code signing certificates for ScreenConnect, Automate and RMM. There have been some issues with threat actors sending out ConnectWise components that, or using rather ConnectWise components, ScreenConnect especially, with configuration data which has been manipulated. So try that again. It's when you install and use ScreenConnect, it can come with configuration data. Now, configuration data ought to be signed and generally okay. However, it has been seen that that's been manipulated by threat actors in such a way that they can give themselves access to your systems and so on and so forth. It's down to the fact that the systems for checking the integrity of what's being installed weren't spotting this stuff. So the response is to update digital signatures from the ConnectWise side. I've explained that very badly. There's a good article in GB Hackers which explains it way better than me, and there's lots of stuff all over the cyber press about this. So if you use ConnectWise components, be aware they are updating their code signing certificates, and you should, I think, expect that to come through pretty soon. There is a campaign at the moment to enumerate Microsoft Entra ID accounts. So Microsoft Entra ID, just in case you've been living under a rock, which I do a lot of the time, so no criticism there. But it's the new name for Azure Active Directory, because obviously it's Active Directory and it's in Azure, so you would call it Entra ID, right? Not Azure Active Directory. Never mind. Good one. There is a penetration testing or security testing tool, open source piece of tool called TeamFiltration, which has been developed to assist security researchers, cyber teams, in identifying weaknesses in Azure Active Directory accounts. The tool is being used by criminal groups in order to do exactly that, looking for access to Microsoft accounts via password spraying attempts using this very efficient open source tool. So be aware, this stuff is kicking off at the moment. It is mainly focused on password spraying. So long as you've got long and complex and unique passwords for all your accounts, you'll be fine. But then, I'm absolutely certain nobody listening to this briefing will have anything less secure than multi-factor authentication or passkey authentication anyway. So, I mean, nobody listening to this is just using passwords, are you? And then finally from me today, you might have gathered I am interested in esoteric ways of exfiltrating data. Well, there's an article in Bleeping Computer talking about some research that has shown that smartwatches can be used to exfiltrate data from air-gapped systems. Now, we're going to start with an assumption on this one, and the assumption is that somehow you've managed to compromise the air-gapped server, air-gapped computer, and put on it some malware. Okay. That's easier said than done, but not impossible. USB sticks, disgruntled employees, the usual sort of stuff can go. So air gapping things is not 100%. 100% guarantee of no compromise. But let's assume that there is some malware that has been installed onto your air-gapped computer. This particular malware will gather the information that needs to be exfiltrated, and then using specific sound frequencies that are inaudible to humans, but can be heard by the microphones on smartwatches, the data can then be sent to the smartwatch as sound waves. So effectively creating a covert channel. Very difficult to spot. I don't know any of us that are monitoring sound spectra for potential exfiltration of data. However, it does look like it's there. It's a very interesting article. I do not think that this is going to become the next big thing in data exfiltration, considering that most data can simply be sent to a C2 server via uncontrolled outbound connections from most services, can't they? Great. Never mind, that's the way things are. However, this is quite interesting, and if you do have air-gapped solutions and you are working in a particularly secure environment, just be aware of this. I would suggest that when you go through your usual checks to make sure that people are not taking smartphones into secure areas, that you also take their watch off them. Right, that's all from me for today. Hope you have a good day, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow morning.